Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to show you what to do after each ride to keep your bike looking brand new. You may want to do this if you wanted to sell the bike or you just want to keep it in pristine condition. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks to get this bike back to factory. Right, so these are the 4 products I'm going to use on the bike. Now keep in mind you can differ and change any of these products you wish. I'm just going to use these 4 to keep it simple and cheap. So basically what I use is a chain spray, silicone spray, brake cleaner, and a lubricant, a WD-40, and a couple of rags. I'm going to show you how you can use these products to get that bike looking brand new. So let's get into it. Basically, first step of the process is going to be give the bike a proper wash. Now if you're not sure how to do this, I have a how-to, however it's quite straightforward. So after you wash the bike, now let's get into the little detailing and little highlights that make the bike look brand new. Right, so after you've washed that bike and get it looking squeaky clean, now what you're going to do is you're going to lubricate everything that moves on the bike. So basically take your lubricant, get a rag, and start lubing up things that move. So basically go around and feel things. So as you can see here, we've got a moving spring. So you just give a little squirt of WD on that between the middle contact points. Just as so. We've got our foot peg. Squirt it in there, take the rag and go a bit more liberal in there. Work it in. It's important to work it in and to continue on squirting tiny bit around it so it gets proper lubrication all over it. Work it in, wipe off the excess. Back here, give it a little bit around there, and just go around and lubricate everything that moves on the bike. So you can lubricate right down here where the shock meets the swing arm, where the shock actually compresses, tiny smidge around there. Good to do it here. The locking nut of the spring, it's a little bit on there, handy if you need to ever undo it. Where the spring mounts to the chassis. It's a good idea to lubricate the little spring for your exhaust. Idle adjustment screw. A good idea to get your choke, just a little squirt on that. Just do your levers too, just a real small amount on the top, just where that metal to metal contact rub. In between there's a pin full of grease, so you're not too concerned about that. Just wanted to note, if you're running cable clutch or cable brakes and things like that instead of the hydraulic, then make sure you really lubricate those lines. If you can get the WD-40 nozzle and you can jam it right down that line, you can actually squirt lubricant all the way down the cable. Now there is a proper tool which you may want to consider getting because it makes it a lot easier, but it is possible with the WD nozzle. Right, so now you've gone around and you've hit all the moving parts of the bike and you've hit common nuts that you undo. Now let's move to the drivetrain. All you're going to do for this is you're going to grab your favourite chain lubricant. I do suggest this one, however you can buy any single one. I tend to stay away from the waxes because they really put a thick coating of wax, which yes provides good lubrication, but as soon as you go into the dirt it just gets clogged up and stuck full of sand. This stuff's a lot easier to clean off and it's a little bit thinner. Still sticky but thin. So all you're going to do is you're going to chuck your bike in neutral and then you're going to get it on a stand and you're just going to spray that chain lubricant on there and just keep running the bike through. So continue on this and just lube up that chain. So now you've lubed up your chain, just run the lubrication through the chain. People sometimes forget to do this, but this is a good way to just make sure everything's lubricated before you go out there and give it a whip of a throttle. So just go along and massage it in. Right, so now after you've lubricated the chain, we're going to move on to protecting the plastics and all the rubber components, electrical harnesses, things like that. Basically, if you want one product to do the whole lot, you're going to have to get silicone spray. This stuff is absolute game changer if you've never used it. It's good, it's safe on all surfaces, and I just apply this stuff over the whole bike. It's basically going to make the bike look shiny, it's going to bring back the plastics, and it's going to bring back all the rubbers and get them moisturized, prevent them from cracking. So if you want a one product to do the whole thing, you can get yourself a silicone spray. If you wish, you get like specialist plastic protectants and rubber protectants, but you're just increasing costs, and really silicone spray does it all. So let's get into how to use it. Right, so to apply the silicone spray is quite simple. All you're going to do is you're going to take your silicone spray and you're going to apply it directly to the area that you want to apply it. Remember, this can go on all surfaces. So simply, I want to apply it to this area here. Take the can, spray it directly on. Quick couple squirts, not a lot. Take your rag in a little bundle and just buff this product in. Give it a wipe very quickly. And that's all there is to it. And you can see that it really brings up the plastic and gives it a nice glistening shine to it. So you can basically apply it to the whole bike like so. Get your rag. Just buff it lightly in. Like that, and that's all there is to it. It won't dry like a WD-40 if you were to spray WD-40 all over the bike or some other products. It's going to stay kind of, I guess, wet and slick. And what that's going to do is it's going to stop mud sticking to the bike for a start, and it brings up the shine, which makes it look like it's factory new. Avoid putting it on the seat because you obviously don't want to slide off the seat. You can get a specialty kind of vinyl protectant for the seat if you wish. However, plastics, rubbers, electrical components on the bike, just chuck that stuff on there. Right, so for rubbers, radiator tubes, fuel lines and things like that, just grab the silicone spray, give it a nice liberal coat. Now you can either leave it like that and let it soak in, because it will, or you can come across and just buff it off lightly with the rag. And you can see how it gives it a nice moisturized appearance, which is going to stop that rubber from drying out and cracking and causing a problem out in the bush. Now basically for the engine bay, I just give it a light misting over the whole thing and I just leave it wet. Like so, and I just leave it wet. All that's going to do is it's going to keep that glisten shine on it, makes it look brand new. It's going to protect the aluminum casing. It's going to stop it from getting surface rust and things like that on it. It's going to just protect everything there. As you can see, it's quite wet, it's moist. It'll dry a tiny bit and soak into areas. But for the cabling and stuff like that, it's going to stop them cracking and getting broken. As you can see, those rubbers are nice and moist, and it's just going to suck up that silicone and keep that rubber flexible. It's going to stop it cracking in the future. Handy little tip, under the guards, just leave it wet. Don't rub it off, don't worry about it. All it's going to do is in wet, muddy days, it's going to stop that mud sticking to the guard and it's just going to fall right off. Also, silicone spray makes it heaps easier to clean the bike. If you spray this stuff all over the bike and then go out for a dirty ride, come back and gurney it off, the mud's just going to fall off. So this stuff's a really, really handy product to throw on the bike. Right, so the last thing you want to do before you finish up is make sure you clean the calipers and the rotors. This is important as you've lubricated the bike, you may have got a little bit of overspray on these rotors. Also, if you use silicone spray to spray over the bike, sure enough, you would have got a little bit of overspray on these. So you can simply clean them with brake cleaner. Just take the brake cleaner, give it a nice spray, and spray the rotor. Don't worry about getting too much on the rim, just wipe it off with a clean rag. So just get around that rotor, wipe it down, wipe off that caliper. And then what you want to do is just roll it forward and do it again to make sure it's completely clean. And there it is. So that's how you get the bike looking like brand new. Now keep in mind I only use 4 products in this video to make sure it's simple and so that everyone can do it. For the enthusiasts out there, click below and you can get a more in detailed version. However, if you just wanted a quick result, then this is how you do it.